Hey, how's it going? Coach D here from All Out Athletes. And here we are once again at the Last Dance Baseball Tournament podcast. Thanks to the athletic director at St. Joe's, Mike Murray, Major League Baseball scout John Kroger, and Brian Chapman from Melbourne High School. Those three guys helped put together the Last Dance Baseball Tournament so the athletes of the high schools of baseball can get one last dance together. Whether you're a sophomore or junior, it's the last dance for the seniors, but it's the last dance for all the players to be together. And normally I have coaches on here. Well, I do have a coach on here, but he's also a player in the tournament. And he's won sectional and divisional titles with the actual head coach of Pascack Valley is Will Lynch, right? Will Lynch is the head coach. However, in some districts, mostly in most of the state, the head coach cannot be with the team until July 13th, one day before the tournament starts, which is only a couple days away. Well, in some districts, you cannot be with the team until August 3rd. The head coach cannot be with them until August 3rd, which the tournament's already over. So what has Pascack Valley done? They've put in Jake Lutz, the man in front of me right now, who's also a player, a shortstop, and the head coach of this team. But because this is like a sandlot tournament, Pascack Valley is not the name of the team. What's the name of the team, Jake?
The team's name is the Valley Storm.
The Valley Storm. And with us today is one of the top shortstops in New Jersey. He's ranked number 15 out of all the high schools in New Jersey. And you say, oh, he's 15. Well, he's 15 out of 866 high schools, number 15. And he's with us today. Jake, how's it going, buddy?
It's going well. Living the dream. Just got done working out earlier this morning, and now I'm on here talking to you.
So who put you in charge of the team? Well, we know who, but how did it all come about?
So at first, I talked to the coaches about playing the tournament, and they had some. They told me that they weren't able to because of the August 3rd deadline of where coaches would be. All coaches in the school, the district, would be allowed to see players. So I took it by my own hands to go out and ask all the seniors and all the players who I thought would have been on the varsity team to see if they want to play in the tournament. And so I got a roster together. I asked my brother to help out to coach the base with me, and I got it all together. We figured out the uniforms and got the team name, and we're in.
What was your reaction when you first heard? Well, I'm sure you heard some rumors, but what was your first reaction to this whole thing?
First reaction, I was like amazed at the details and what the idea was for the tournament, but I was a little like shaky on if it was going to work out because with Governor Murphy and everything, I don't know if you would allow it. But as it started getting later on, and I was like, holy God, this is going to happen. And I was excited because all my players were like, oh, we're excited to play. Let's go. We had a good team. We have 12 returning seniors, and it's going to be really fun.
12 returning seniors. They all get together one last time where everything was buried. Your season was buried, the school, everything, graduations, you had to throw things together, people driving by in cars. And after all of that, they go, all right, here's your baseball season back. So you guys must feel ecstatic. And one of the things that I joke around with the coaches about is, I'm sure you've seen on the other podcasts, is that the energy of you guys right now is the energy coaches want at every practice and training session. That's what they've been waiting for. And now they're getting it. Now all the players are just as excited, if not even more excited than the coaches are.
Oh, we're excited.
So can you talk about how the name came, the Storm? The name of the team is the Storm. So can you talk a little bit about how that came about?
So my club team I used to play for was called the Jersey Storm, and it's a very prestigious team in the Northeast. And my dad was the coach, and he ran the team. He passed away in March, and so he wasn't able to watch me or my team play in or have our senior year, even if we did have a senior year. But what we wanted to do is set set a goal on just working hard and trying to win as best as possible, because that's what the Storm did, and the team wanted to like honor him because he never missed a single high school game, and that's why we wanted to be the Valley Storm.
So your dad never missed a high school game at Pasco
Never
Valley.
missed a high school game.
Wow. And you've been playing with the team since you were about 6, is that correct?
Years old.
Wow. So can you talk about how that program works? Because some of those athletes actually went on to play Major League Baseball.
Yeah, we have a bunch of guys right now. We have 2 guys right now who are in Major League Baseball right now. George Valera from the Indians and Jalen Palmer from the Mets. We have a bunch of guys playing Division I baseball right now, like Fritz Genther, he's a shortstop for Virginia Tech. Jake Denner, he's a pitcher from Michigan. And really what the team was is we got 12 of the best guys in New Jersey. And honestly, they didn't even have to be the best, but my dad got the best out of them. And we just won all the time. It was crazy. Our goals was get there, win, and then we can have fun afterwards. So it's like come up big, and like just go hard, and it's just straight on hard-nosed baseball.
Can you talk about what you guys did during some of those training sessions that might be a little different than the way athletes normally train for baseball?
With what, with the high school team or with the Storm?
With the Storm.
So with the Storm, training sessions would be like winter training or anything. Our BP would be, my dad would throw BP, and he was a different breed of throwing BP. So he played minor league baseball for the Blue Jays, and he was a catcher. So his BP was he would stand 40 feet away and throw it 80 miles an hour to little kids. And other teams used to stop their BP and parents watching their games, their sons, to watch us hitting BP off my dad. So that would prepare us for the hard pitching and the top-notch pitching, and the ground balls he would hit. He'd honestly, to me especially, he probably should have taken a little bit easier. He gave me a lot of bruises on my chest and a lot of bruises on my face just from the rocket ground balls he would hit. It's just different. Everything he did was preparing us to be the best person we could be and best athlete. Training would be like a lot of fundamentals, bunt defense, and base running, no mistakes. And that's how he played, no mistakes.
So your dad made it to the major leagues, and just to make it there, one of the things we talk about here at All Out Athletes, we do a podcast on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. with a professor in sports psychology, the great Dr. Gilbert. And one of the things we talk about is the mental mindset of great athletes, of champions, of people doing certain things. Your father did something that was extreme. He sounded like an extreme athlete with the extreme energy and focus that he brought, that he did things that, as you said, other people looked over and said, what's he doing? Hitting the ball as hard as he can and doing but that's what it takes. That's what it takes. If you want to get to that next level, you have to be that extreme athlete. Extreme coaches create extreme athletes, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm talking to one right now who's ranked 15 in the state as a shortstop. You don't get to be 15 in the state by training the way everybody else trains. You don't get there that way. Most people don't want to be average. They want to be up here. But if you look at their training, it's here. I'm talking to somebody whose dad was 40 feet away from him, whipping the ball, throwing the ball hard, and expecting him to hit it. And I guarantee you he didn't hit it maybe the first 10 times. But his father knew eventually, there's a great quote, and I talk about every podcast about this crazy, I call her crazy, but she was an extreme cheer coach, won 14 national championships. Do until you get it right. Just keep going until you get it right. You're not here for the no's. You're here for the yeses. And when you get that one, yes, I got it. Then as a child, they say, what else can I do? So instead of dumbing it down so Jay could hit 10 in a row, your father threw it as hard as he threw it harder until, right, put the bar so high and said, I dare you to reach that bar. And then you finally hit one. And I assume once you saw it, you started to believe it. And sometimes as coaches, we have the bar so low so they could reach it. And then, but when you put the bar here and they finally get it, that accomplishment must feel great.
Definitely. He definitely taught me how to fail, and I believe that failure is the best way to learn, and you can only get success from failure. And that's what he did. He believed in that too. And by throwing hard as he can and hitting me all those hard ground balls, I I I mishit a bunch of balls, and I booted a bunch of balls. But eventually, it got easy and got normal. So when the routine ball came, it looked like it was slow in the game, and it looked so too easy.
That's great. He made the training hard so the game was easy, right? A lot of coaches talk about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned something where failure. So let's talk about failure for a second. So a lot of athletes, when you hit them ground balls and they get 5 out of 6, 5 out of 8, and then when they don't get one, they get really frustrated because they're used to getting them all the time. But then when you hit a ground ball to somebody who doesn't get, they go 0 for 10 because it's coming so hard at them. If they get 1 out of 10, that would be a big accomplishment, right? So fail so many, so your father hit him so hard, he failed so many times in a row that if you got upset about every failure, you'd be exhausted within 10 minutes. But most athletes train to where they can get it, so when they do fail, they droop all the way down. Why don't you go after something and make it so difficult that you got to fail? You want to get used to failure? Fail so many times. Make it so difficult you fail so many times in a row until you get that one yes. And then you won't focus so much on the failure. You'll focus more on the technique and how to get it right. And I think your father was really onto something. And, hey, he produced athletes who are now in the major leagues. And that's a great thing. And really, I just want to say I'm sorry to hear about your dad. It sounds like he was an amazing, amazing influence in your life. And you're carrying that. The experiences you had with your dad and the great and also the great coach you have over there at Pascagoula Valley and Will Lynch. You can now be a player's coach for you must be extremely excited because you don't only get to play, you get to coach. So let me ask you something now. You have the respect of the other athletes to be that player's coach of a high school. I mean, it's not like you're, 28 years old and 30 years old in Major League Baseball, and you have the respect of the younger guys and stuff. You're 19 years old. You're excited just to play, but now you also got to focus on making sure everybody else is busting their butt and going hard.
Oh, I'm extremely. I think I did earn their respect. Like, they knew that I really wanted to play this tournament, probably more than anyone else, and they knew that I know what I'm talking about on the baseball field, and they with my past experiences, just telling them they know how my dad coached, and they know that I'm probably the closest one to him, so I know how to make a lineup. I know how to in-game decisions. I have that quick brain where I can make that decision on the spot. Oh, go warm up or make a defensive substitution, and I know how everything works. So they respect me just making a decision. They trust me, and obviously I'm gonna, before every decision, big decision, I'm gonna go to my other seniors, 2 other seniors who I really trust, and I'm hey guys, what do you think about this? And I'm thinking that, and if you think that, go for it. And that's what it's gonna be like.
When coaches are with athletes, no matter what age, you never know what you're preparing them for. Did your father know when you were 8 years old, 10 years old, that he was preparing you to come back in July after this whole pandemic, because your season was going to be taken away from you, and be the player and coach? No idea. but all that hard work your father put into you is helped you. You never know what's going to when the athlete's going to have to go into their bag of tricks or everything that you taught them, when they're going to have to pull that all out now. And so everything you invest in an athlete now, well, your father invested in you, you can now give back and invest into others. And I think if anybody's prepared for this position, it's probably you. So
He definitely wasn't thinking that I'd be playing here in July in this tournament. I mean, he knew I would be, but he didn't think it would be happening. But I think that if he expected one person, one player to be a player coach, I think he wouldn't be surprised it would be me. I think. He knows I'm like in that nut job like he was, where I'm like, all right, let's get everything going.
we at all our athletes we talk about, are you in it or are you into it? And a lot of people look at me strange, like in and into it's the same thing. No, it's not. It is absolutely not. You're either in a sport or you're totally into the sport. And if you're in it, you want to play for somebody who's into it. I mean, if I go to the dentist, he better be totally into being a dentist. If I go to a doctor, I hope he's totally into being a doctor. No matter what you do, you just want to be around the intos, right? Your preschool teacher, your first grade teacher, all your teachers, you want them to be totally into it, because there's going to be times you're going to want to quit. There's going to be times that you don't want to do this. I don't feel like it. And the intos can help you push past your feelings. And that's what your players are going to experience at some point during the game. Somebody's going to strike out. Somebody's going to, right? And they need that intuit coach, that intuit leader on the team that's going to help them push through. So is there, so you talk about making a lineup, and you got to make sure you try and put everybody in the game and seniors, because this is a different tournament. So do you have a game plan of how you're going to do that? How you're going to get everybody in the game? Or I know it's for the seniors, right? It's for the seniors. The juniors have next year, but the juniors are still, everybody's here to play. Parents are coming. Everybody's here to play. So do you have a game plan of how you're going to do that without getting into too much detail or anything,
Me and my two friends just made a lineup the other night for the first game versus Ramsey, and I think we have it all planned out. We have that game and we have the next game. First we have to win the first game, but we have the second game pretty like we have it pretty figured out. But yeah, me and my two friends, the kid who's pitching the first game and our catcher, we wrote up a lineup the other night, and we just went with our gut instinct.
So that must have been exciting for you to just you get to write up a lineup, and now you're all excited, but you got to relax and all right, we got to make sure we get everybody in, and so
Yep.
So what is your schedule coming up?
A
few days.
Like for what? For the tournament, or just
yes
tournament? Our first game is going to be against Ramsey because we're the 3 seed. But we have to win that game. We hope we win that game, and we play the winner of Don Bosco in Cliffside Park. So that's our first. That's our 2. That's what I'm excited for.
Those are 2 interesting games. That's gonna be.
We're ready. We're ready. I might have to step on the mound too.
And it's also a little different because you're not getting all the seniors from all the schools. Not all the athletes are able to make the tournament for one reason or another. Not all the seniors are able to make the tournament. So where did you get your uniforms from? How did you get your uniforms? How did that come about?
We ordered our uniforms. One of the moms said they have like one of their friends can just make uniforms for us, like athletic performance T-shirts, and make them the uniforms. So we're gonna have those. They're very nice uniforms, and we're all gonna be looking nice and swaggy. We're gonna have, for one of the games, we're gonna have pants with cut pants with stirrups. Then the other game, we're going to have tweeners. So we have that, and we got just uniforms from just athletic, nice T-shirts, and says Valley Storm and our number on the back.
Yeah, so it sounds like a parent took control of that. Somebody took control of that for you, correct?
Yeah, I was planning. I was say. I said, I'll take care of like the actual baseball stuff. If you can, I have a design. If you can like take care of this, that'd be awesome.
Right,
It would
because
take a
for
lot.
the good.
It would take a lot off me. That's what I said to her.
Yeah, because for the most part, the bottom line is, you're talking about the uniforms that they're kind of cool, but I know the bottom line is you guys don't really care about the uniforms. I just want to get out. I know you're talking about it, but yeah, somebody else is designing it for you. But most of the athletes, nobody really cares. They just want to have that one last, chance with their friends. So
Mhm.
you're going to Wagner College, Division One. What made you decide on Wagner?
When I visited the campus, I loved it immediately. It was not too big of a campus, which I love. Not a lot of people in the school. Their baseball program is awesome. I love Coach Corona and Coach Noto. I love what they're doing over there. They're getting a bunch of good recruits, and their stadium is so nice. They play at the Richmond County Bank Ballpark, where the Staten Island Yankees play. That's their home field. So what more could an infielder want than to play in a minor league stadium and on that nice dirt and grass, and where there's not going to be no bad hops? It's going to be awesome. You see the Statue of Liberty in the background. It's awesome.
That's great.
Cleanest campus I've ever been on.
That that is awesome. That is really awesome. So you're gonna have an earpiece in your ear with Coach Will Lynch in your ear, or you're gonna be talking to him after the games. As we said before, Will Lynch is the head coach of the Pascagoula Valley varsity boys baseball team, and he's not allowed to coach on the team. He's not allowed to coach the team until August 3rd. Do you see yourself reaching out to him after the first game, or I'm sure you've already have, and you guys spoke about uh,
Oh, definitely.
practice and things of that nature?
Definitely. Yeah, I've definitely talked to him about like game plans and stuff like that. And just his opinion, I want to he's the he's been coaching us for years. I would love his opinion and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been talking to him. We're not really I haven't really talked to him about practice because we're running our own practices and he can't really see us and he can't be involved in that.
Right.
But I just like I want to hear him out on what he thinks we should do, of course, because he's our head coach and he's such a good baseball knowledgeable person, and that's he's helping us out with that.
So you've played for him for 4 years. Well,
Mhm.
actually 3 years because you didn't get to play for him, unfortunately this year. So what is something that he taught you that other coaches haven't? Like, what are some of his philosophies? One of the things that you learned from him that you'll be putting into play as a coach?
One of the main things is probably demanding. I'm trying to think of I want to think of the best one. Probably stay classy. No fooling around, no chirping other team. Our chirping is going to be by winning, and then do not be surprised by winning. If we win, shake hands, keep a straight face. Don't be we just won, we're happy. No, we came here to win. We expected a win, and that's probably the main thing that we're going to take into the tournament is to expect winning, and that's what he taught us to do: expect to win and take it seriously and play play baseball like it's our last game.
I love that. That's a great philosophy. Is that when you win the game and people go crazy, and there's your coach, Coach Wollins, going, didn't you? Well, what did you expect to lose? Are you surprised that we won? Not that you want to be cocky or conceited about, like, yeah, we knew we knew we were going to win. I know you're not talking about that at all. You're just talking whether you win or lose. It's a baseball game. It's a game. We get to play this game as hard as we possibly can, and be so focused in training that when you get to the game, you have that confidence where whether you're down, whether you're up, sounds like he's giving you guys a great lesson. No matter what's going on in the game, you guys are just there's no fooling around when you're up. There's no putting your head down when you're down. We're just going straight ahead. We're going straight no matter what. We strike out, we're still moving forward. We're just going to keep moving forward. We win the game. Give that team that respect that we're starting to lose in sports, and that your coach is still teaching. And I think that's a great lesson for everybody, because it's not enough to win sometimes these days. You have to dance on the other people's, feelings, right, when they lose. But yet when we lose, we don't want nobody dancing on ours. So I think that's an awesome lesson. So coach and player, do you have any last words before we get to the last dance in a few days? Anything that you wish you would have said on the podcast, or anything, other philosophies you want to share about your Will, or any stories you want to share about, a couple of your players that are now in the major leagues, or want to share anything about your dad, or anything you want to say before we get to the last dance?
I want to thank my high school players, my fellow teammates who are going to be playing with me in the tournament, and taking it seriously as like I am, and coming out and practicing almost every day, going to the field, throwing bullpens, taking BP, doing infield, outfield, all that stuff, and just not goofing around. It would be hard to not goof around when there's not an adult or a coach there, but somehow they respect the game and they know how bad I want to win, and as well as they all want to win, to prove what we could have done in our final season.
If you want to be respectful to Coach Will Lynch, continue what he's taught you as you're doing now. And that's my advice to the team, or any team. Coach Will's all about respecting the game. You show your respect by how focused you are and getting better and getting to the next level. So it sounds like you've had some great mentors in your life, between your dad and Coach Will Lynch, and some of the other players who I'm sure mentored you, who are now in the major leagues, and you being a part of the Jersey Storm since you were 6 years old. Coach, player, it's great having you on, Jake. And I look forward to you maybe coming back on. Would you like to come back on after a few of your games?
Definitely.
When is your last game? So you know your first 2 games of the first couple of days. When's the third game? Do you know?
The games, all pool play, are going to be the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th at Don Bosco.
Okay. So they're all at Don Bosco, all 3 of your games. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to get that out for everybody. All right. So 14th, 15th, and 16th. Come on out, parents. Make it as safe as possible. I said this on other podcasts, where whether you're wearing your mask or sanitizer, bring sanitizer for everybody around you. Let's make it, we're all together. Let's make it as safe as possible for everybody around us. So this could be the safest tournament. We know what's going on in the country, and now we're going to gather together. So make sure that, we're letting down our wall a little bit, but don't let it down to the point where we're not careful enough, because this is about the athletes, and we don't want anybody taking anything home for their health, for their family's health, and for the athletes' health and the coaches. Let's make this as safe as possible. So athletes, one last thing. If you go all in, as coach is saying, coach, player in front of me, Jake Lutz, if you're going to respect the game and you go all in, when coach is talking, all in with everything you were taught from Will Lynch, Coach Will Lynch, then and only then will we find out, when we watch you play, whether or not you will go all out. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see everybody next time on the Last Dance Baseball Tournament podcast. We'll see everybody in a few days. It's almost here. Thanks a lot, Coach, and we'll see everybody next time. Hey, Coach D here. Thank you very much for watching our podcast tonight, and a special thank you to you, Jake. Jake, it was very courageous of you to come on with us and share the stories and philosophies of your dad. I think a lot of us have learned a lot why the Jersey Storm has produced Major League Baseball players. So thanks for coming on with us. And tomorrow night's podcast, 8 p.m., we're rolling out another one the night before the tournament. Frank Malta, Group 4 championship coach from Jackson Memorial High School, will be on with us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. And if you want us to come and ignite the fire within your organization, just email us, alloutathletes@gmail.com. Here's a sneak peek of one of our locker room speeches that drops tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We'll see you tomorrow. It's better to go all out and lose than it is to hold back and win. The favorites hold back because they know they're going to win the game. You're playing a team that's above you. Now you got to go all out for every second of the game in order to beat them. And then you get disappointed. We had them. How many times we had them? We should have beat them. But you trained to hold back all season. Train to go all out all season for that one game, that one moment that will make you champions. Let them give what they've got if you're not going to give all you've got. We'll see you next week.